Hello, hello. Welcome to the closing ceremony for GenAI week. This has been Global Hack Week. I'm super excited. I've had an amazing week. Siddharth, how about you? How's your week been?
It's been very, very exciting for me. This was also my first time getting into GenAI and getting to know a lot of details inside of it. And I thought we had anything and everything that you would ask for that's related to GenAI, and even more than that. So I'm really, really
Mm.
excited to also go back and watch some of those recordings of the streams that I wasn't able to catch. But I know you've spent more time than me doing streams this week. How was it for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this is the most streams I've done in a Global Hack Week. I really loved it. GenAI is kind of my gig. So I've had a really good time. We spoke a bit about how we can use LLMs to judge other LLMs and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So I've had a great time. I can see that we've had some hackers in the chat telling us what their favorite streams are. That's really cool to see. Let's pop some up. MCP agents, I think this was with Alberto.
That's correct.
That's super cool. This is one of the ones that I definitely want to go back and watch. It's something I'm not as familiar with, and I think is really up and coming. So that's awesome. We've got Introduction to GANs with 404 Not Found, also known as Yash. That was super exciting. I loved that stream. I had a great time watching it. Really in depth, really awesome. If you've got a favorite stream and you haven't popped it in the chat for us, we'd love to hear it. Siddharth, is there something that you're kind of looking forward to going back and watching, or is there something you've seen already that you're excited to chat about?
Well, I have a little bit of a sneak peek of this when I get to my fun fact for the week, for
Mm.
today. But I was really excited to go to the AI studio, the Google AI Studio stream with Paige
Mm.
from Google. And there's so much that's happening in the Gemini ecosystem these days. And I was only aware of the Gemini API and a few things that you could do using Google AI Studio. But I
Mm.
actually tried out the build feature on it, where you can build a project from scratch, just vibe coding as they call it. And I
Mm.
will have a few things that I want to talk about when I get to my fun fact for today. I'll save that for then, but this was a very good week for me personally.
Awesome. That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. I can see someone else has said they really enjoyed the free CAD stream. I think this was with Bully on 3D modeling. This is
That's
again
correct.
something I'm not too familiar with, but it sounds really exciting. And I heard quite a few people chatting to me today in Global Hack Week about how good this was too. Another hacker loving the stream with Paige from the Google AI team in Gemini. That's so good to hear. Well, shall we introduce ourselves, Siddharth? Should we get going?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Awesome. Well, let's say who we are. I'm Quinn. Some fun facts about me are that I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. You can probably guess that by the t-shirt. And I'm also super interested in how we evaluate AI. This is something I've chatted a bit about this week, probably actually quite a lot about this week. So let me know if you're bored of it. And I've run a few streams on it, which I've really enjoyed. And I've seen a few familiar faces already in the comments who came along. So that was really fun for me too. Siddharth?
Well, I'm sure we can never be bored of AI discussions, but I am Siddharth. I work as a first party events coordinator at Major League Hacking, which basically means that I get to work on all of our first party events or digital events that you participate in. Global Hack Weeks, GenAI particularly was one of them. We also have a digital hackathon or a series of digital hackathons that we organize on the MLH Discord. We also have one upcoming that we are waiting to announce a little later during the opening ceremony. But my fun fact that I've been gatekeeping for all this while is that I vibe coded a People Bingo app. I don't know if all of you here in the chat are aware of what People Bingo is. But think of this as where you get a bingo like sheet with a lot of actions or prompts mentioned inside of it. This is a ice breaking sort of a game where you have to walk across the room,
Mm.
around the room, and find people who can fulfill those prompts or actions for you. This can be anything on the lines of find someone who's written their first line of code in JavaScript at this hackathon to someone who's gone to more than 10 hackathons, all of those things, right? And I was actually able to do this in just under 10 minutes. How cool was that?
Wow.
And I did this all on Google AI Studio, which is why I've been speaking like a fanboy about Gemini and Google AI Studio. But I thought this was also cool for me to share with all of you because I was vibe coding and I was learning Gen AI along with all of you throughout this week.
Awesome stuff. Well, I know that for many of you, or at least some of you this week, this has maybe been your first encounter with Major League Hacking. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit more about actually what Major League Hacking does. So first up, we run the global hacker community. That includes events like Global Hack Week, but also a whole load of other events like hackathons, which we partner with, and also a bunch of other exciting things. It's our mission to empower hackers just like you. And by being at an event run or partnered with by Major League Hacking, you are joining a community of over 1 million hackers. That is a huge number. I've seen, streams before where people just cannot fathom it. I mean, I count the zeros sometimes. There's so many zeros, 6 zeros, too many zeros, really. No, we need more zeros. But that's so many hackers, and it's really exciting to be part of such a big and growing community. But right now, we're here to wrap up GenAI Week. I hope you've had a great time. I've had a great time. So let's get started with what we've been through this week. So first up, in day one, we walked through the Clarify platform. And we did this. There we go. We did this with Samantha from Clarify. And this was just a walkthrough of the whole platform, and he gave us tips and tricks on how to complete all of the challenges that we did as well. So a huge shout out to Samantha also for being around on the Discord. Next up, we worked on a Q&A interface, which was powered by GenAI using Oracle Apex. And John from Oracle was walking us through this, specifically through the Apex Live Lab, which I could see loads of people chatting about in Discord, and some people in Today in Global Hack Week asking questions. So I'm really excited that people got sunk into this. And in particular, we worked on building a chatbot. Then we ran a chatbot on the ARM servers. And I'm sure ARM is a familiar name to many people. We had a really exciting stream with a panel with Kieran from ARM, and also Swift, who's the CEO of Major League Hacking and one of the co-founders. And they discussed Kieran's journey into tech and all of the cool things that ARM gets up to. Kieran also showed us how powerful CPUs can be when running GenAI tasks, and that we don't always need GPUs for it, which is amazing. This was demonstrated in a little quick demo where Kieran ran an LLM chatbot on an ARM server. Next, we made our database talk. This is something which I think is really cool. I think dealing with data can be a little bit tricky, sometimes wrangling it. And so Nacho from Oracle made a database talk using Select AI, which turns natural language questions, something you might ask, like, I think there's one up on the screen. It's probably too small for me to read it, but how many movies are in this database or something like that, and it can work out real answers for you, and it does that super fast. Then, and this is the stream I think lots of people have been chatting about already, we got introduced to Google AI Studio with Paige from the Google DeepMind team, and she introduced us to all sorts of different tools and models in the Gemini ecosystem. We also made a flashcard app using Google AI Studio and deployed it with just one click of a button. So you can also see how Gemini can be your co-scientist in a research project, and finally use the VO3 text to video model yourself, so you can head along to the Gemini AI Studio if you're interested, and check that out yourself. Then we got good with Git. This was with Ryan Lalu. And this was all of the basics up to even some slightly more complicated things. Git is something I think most developers use daily, and I'm sure a really informative and learning experience in this workshop with Ryan. Then we took our first steps into neural networks. So we did that with Bully, again, a coach or a streamer from Major League Hacking, and this looks like a really fascinating workshop. If you're new to neural networks, this is what underpins GenAI and is super important to know about. And then we started setting up local GenAI models. And let me swap across. It looks like we were doing this without the cloud and doing everything from how they work all the way from how they're trained and how we can fine tune them up to the point of inference as well. And then day one had a lot of things, but don't worry, we're nearing the end, and then we'll talk about day two. We dove into Linux. Linux is a super useful tool to be aware of. If you don't understand the Linux system, I recommend going back and watching this stream. If you're, for example, trying to access compute clusters, often they run on Linux, and so it's a great way to start doing more compute, which is super relevant for GenAI as well. We looked at GenAI dev tools with Vashini. And again, this one is something which I'm really interested in. I didn't manage to catch, but it's on my to-do list to go back and watch. So if you want to learn more about that, you can do that too. Finally, for day one, we had a workshop on making better hacks even faster with GitHub Copilot. And this is a super useful one. I use Copilot all the time. If you've been to my streams, you'll often see me using the predict function, which is super great. Sometimes /fix as well when I've inevitably made a typo or got some bug. This was with Wei, and a really great introduction to GitHub Copilot. Wow, that was a lot for day one. What happened in day two, Siddharth?
Well, we kicked off day two with the Figma workshop. And I'm sure all of you here may have used Figma for maybe I think creating a creative card for yourself, or let's just say a UI interface. But what if I told you that you can do further more with Figma? You can actually get code out of Figma for your front end apps. And that's exactly what Ryan Ralu covered here during the stream. If you do not know how that works, it's made to work using something called as Figma dev mode. And all of that was discussed when Ryan Lalu was running the stream. This is a perfect chance for you to go and watch the recording. And I see Wei in the chat who just distracted me when I was explaining. That's Wei. Wei is the one who ran the Copilot workshop. So a huge shout out to Wei. Uh, but yeah, Ryan did a really good job in explaining Figma to us. So make sure you go back and watch and understand how Figma works, maybe outside of the design itself. And then we had UT. UT is known for doing a lot of streams, a lot of technical streams. And UT typically picks up a topic that UT has been working on for quite a while. And when UT builds an app using all the learnings, UT comes back and tells us, hey, I want to do this. I want to build this app on a stream because I've learned so much doing it. So this time around, UT came and built a doodling app, which you all were able to actually complete. And it looked something like this. I was really excited to see that you work together for 4 parts of this track to build an actually working doodle canvas. And if you are curious to go maybe contribute to the repository or the project itself, or to give that a star, the link is in the screenshot here. You can always go back and watch the recording and get access to that. But I know UT is someone who keeps improving those projects. So if you want to go back and see a more advanced version of this app, go and start this project and make sure you're following it. Then you had a way to take your first steps into AI with AWS. And this was with Vincent, who was a guest stream. Vincent came in with a lot of knowledge of Amazon as a platform, or Amazon Web Services as a platform, and walked you through Bedrock and Q, two things that you use when you want to do anything related to AI on AWS. You actually went through the platform together for about an hour or two and got to learn a lot more about Amazon and Amazon Web Services. So a huge shout out for Vincent for coming in and giving you all of that great content during that stream. I'll also pick up day three and talk a little bit about that while Quinn takes a little bit more rest. Well, we started off by exploring APIs, and this was a stream by Varshini. I know ultimately you all built this app called Movie Finder, and I saw everybody in the chat also recommending movies that Varshini should you to test out that app. And I think here you're looking for this movie called Karate Kid. I was really fascinated to see all of you coming together, and it actually felt to me like I was watching a hackathon team working together to build a project. I saw you all helping Harshini with debugging the code. I saw you all giving Varshini some prompts to work with. This was a real fun one for me to watch. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the stream on our YouTube channel and you will get to join that fun virtually. Well, we had another one of the Figma Dev Mode sessions. We typically do a couple of them throughout the week. This is to make sure that all of you different joining from different time zones get an opportunity to join in. Here again, Ryan walked us through all of those things. And on the screen, you can see a link that you can use to sign up for Figma's education plan. Well, Figma's education plan gives you access to all of the professional features for free if you are a student. So I would want to take this opportunity to give you that link in the chat. If you are here joining for the first time or were not around when the Figma workshop happened, you can go to this link right away and sign up for it. And this will also get you closer to winning swag. We'll talk about what other things you had to do this week to win swag. This is a good opportunity for you to go grab that education pack and get access to all of the professional features that Figma has for you on the platform. And then we had Quinn come in with a very different kind of stream. Quinn, I'll let you talk about this one.
Yeah, no problem. So we were talking about how we can build a quick game to explore how AI interacts with people in a strategic way. If you've ever played kind of little social games like Werewolf or something like that, we built a game that was similar to that. And through that, we really learned to look at behind the scenes of how LLMs and AI tick and whether we can work alongside them to be even more effective and what we can learn from that. So we had a great time. You can see some of my little notes up here. If you are interested in this, feel free to message on Discord. I'd love to chat about it more. You can check out the recording on YouTube. This was a really fun workshop for me. And you can play the game, I think, in the stream. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I posted the GitHub link so you can clone or fork it and work on it yourself and also run it and see what it's like. So I do recommend that.
Of course. And then we got back to another Clarify stream where you worked on AI agents and created custom MCP servers. Well, you definitely did begin with creating a custom MCP server, but then you went on to create a blog writing AI agent all from scratch. And I can see that you used Streamlit to deploy this as well. Well, huge shout out again to Sumant. I know Sumant was all around the clock to help you out on Discord with any questions that you had, to give you access also to the hackathon plan that they had, which gave you even more credits to use their platform. A huge shout out to Sumant. I don't know if Sumant is around watching us live here, but if you are here, say hi, and we'd want to thank you for all the work that you've done in making sure the resources were accessible to all the hackers who joined us this week. Well, going on to day 4, Quinn, do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, of course. So day 4 was another really exciting day. First up, we looked at how to fine-tune AI models and what that really means. This was with Bully, and fine-tuning, if you're not familiar with it, is a really great way to customize models to your own needs and application, which is an amazing tool for a developer to have if you're building your own apps and projects. Then we looked at what ragging is, and this is, again, another really important tool for developers to have if you're going to deploy and build your own AI agents in particular. This was with Alberto, and a really great stream too. Then I went through prompt engineering. We did a little bit on automatic prompt generation and optimization as well. We managed to make a pretty bad prompt, admittedly, 60% better, and we knew that because we ran it on a little data set to evaluate it. So that was a really exciting way to learn about how we can build pipelines for that too. Then we worked on an ed tech hack with Carrie. This was part 1, and a really exciting introduction to how we can use AI and build AI projects to have a really great impact on learning and teaching others. Awesome. Well, that wrapped up day 4. What about day 5, Siddharth?
Well, we kicked this out with another guest stream, and I'm sure all of you recognize this person from their username that you see on Discord and Twitch. This was none other than our really active community member, 404 Not Found, who I thought would be around during the stream so we can go and thank. And also, for a fun fact, it is Yash's birthday today. So if you're on Discord and you find 404 Not Found, aka Yash, on Discord, don't forget to go wish him happy birthday. But Yash was here to walk us through what is called CAN, which you can use to generate any new data instances that resemble a training data set. This is a lot of machine learning that's involved and helps you generate data out of it. I think even before GenAI became so popular, CANs were the thing that people would use to generate a lot of things, and then eventually we started calling this GenAI, and a lot of different platforms and tools came into picture. But this was really important for us to understand where everything started, and I know Yash walked us through a lot of essential things that's related to the basics of machine learning and AI. So this is maybe your first time also getting to know of AI and ML, and you've probably not gone through all of the other streams during this week. I would highly recommend going back to the stream and making sure that you also go back and wish Yash on Discord. Well, then we walked into the 3D model stream, and I noticed a couple of people in the chat already talk about it. Looks like it was a fan favorite. But here, for all the hardware fans in the chat, or for folks, that's the one. For anybody who is interested in designing, but maybe designing hardwares, designing all the cool things that you can later go 3D print or for use for other hardware fabrication purposes, Bully Weir walked us through 3D modeling as a use case. And I don't know if you've had a 3D modeling stream ever before in the history of Global Hack Week. So this may be the first time we did this. Come tell us what you felt about the stream. And if you'd want to continue to watch more of those streams, I'm sure you should be going back and giving a huge shout out to Bully either on Discord or put this here in the chat, and I'll screenshot it and show it to Bully later on. And then we deep dived into image classification tasks. This was with Jocelyn. I know there are a lot of Jocelyn fans in the community. This again was a very important stream for us to first understand how voice and how image classification and all that works. You can see a little bit of a grid and a graph in there, which talks to you about image classification and how a computer would understand what's in there in that image. But you further went to creating voice powered Gen AI, which I thought was really cool. And there was also a challenge this week that was running. So I'm pretty sure you used the stream to go learn all about voice powered Gen AI and to complete that challenge later on. And then we evaluated the reliability of LLMs with none other than Quinn. Quinn, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, of course. So we were looking at how we can judge other LLMs' outputs and evaluate them using LLMs themselves. And this is called LLM as a judge. And we looked at some cool metrics. We made some graphs, and we reproduced part of a research paper, which was really exciting. And we found out that actually the LLM judges agree with human judges 85% of the time, which is really high and really cool to find out. So feel free to head back and watch that again if you want to.
Of course. Then we moved quickly on to day six, where I think this was another stream that someone in the chat was talking about. If I can find that chat, here's the one. Here's your favorite stream from this week, where Alberto walked us through what MCPs are. So I'm sure all of you have heard of MCPs whenever there's a chatter about GenAI, Gemini, all of the different tools in that ecosystem. This was your chance to understand what it really means to be building a model context protocol, or using model context protocol for structured communication and using large language models. Uh, Alberto does a really good job in explaining all of the technically complicated concepts in a very beginner friendly manner. So if you probably also started to work on GenAI and want to understand further more about how you can use different GenAI APIs and make sure that you have a standard you can set for all of those when you're using them, this was a really good stream, and I highly, highly recommend that you go watch the recording later. And I gave you a quick sneak peek into this already, but Jocelyn was back again to do a voice-powered GenAI stream, other than the stream that we were talking about earlier, which was the image classification stream. And I really love the work that Jocelyn puts up in creating those slides with all of the different images that really well explain what concepts you need to cover in there. I think we probably should ask Jocelyn to come back next time and also teach us how to build slides for presentations, because I think that's also a very important skill for all of us to learn, because we're going to eventually get into these industry and companies and professions where we'd have to explain a lot of concepts to peers, and maybe also come back around and become MLH coaches ourselves and teach the global hack week audience. So I think that's also a really, really, really important skill for you all to gain. But a huge shout out to Jocelyn for running both of those streams this week. Up next, you also worked on a lot of challenges this week. If I remember correctly, there was about a 50 challenge list that you got through this weekend. But we wanted to highlight a few of them and highlight a few of those projects that you built this week. Starting with a lot of GitHub quests that you went through. Well, GitHub quests were these small challenges that you would attempt, which would give you a way to earn certificates. And I know everybody in the community really values certificates. And when you go out there and you want to make yourself stand out of the community, or you would want to highlight your achievements on LinkedIn, certificates can go a long way in establishing what you really know and to prove that you've got all of those skills that's required for you to get hired by the industry. This one particularly here was about GitHub Copilot integration. I'm sorry, but I know there was a lot of other GitHub quests that you could do this week. A huge shout out to, oh, and I can see that hacker here already. Well, congratulations to you for redeeming the certificate, and I hope you learned a lot about GitHub Copilot, and everything in that ecosystem. Up next, you all also got a chance to sign up for the ARM Developer Program. Well, the ARM Developer Program gets you access to the ARM experts and the ARM Discord community. You also get invited to all of the different events that they host in person and online. Think of this as a way for you to get in touch with all the folks who are experts in the world of hardware and experts in the world of anything related to servers. I don't think this is something you should miss out on ever, ever, ever. So if you've still not signed up for the ARM developer program, you still have a chance to go to the challenges dashboard, and it should be fairly simple for you to just click on that link, enter a few details, and get signed up and register for the ARM developer program. I think this was a really cool opportunity that the ARM team brought for us this week. Well, then you also went ahead and used Figma. You got a chance to sign up for the Figma education plan. And I can see a hacker here. I don't know if you're in the chat here or watching us live, but if you are around here, tell us a hi and we'd love to give you a shout out. But there was this hacker who built a full-fledged user interface for a website that I think they were calling Askly, if I can read that correctly. Looks like this was a more of a place where people can hang around, ask questions. I get a vibe of it being similar to how Reddit functions or Quora, but I really like the use of colors in there and how well established this was and very easy to understand as a user interface. Well, you also worked on a lot of things related to Clarify. This particular screenshot is from what Clarify calls as the Clarify Playground. While you are on the playground, you get access to several AI models that's already installed on that ecosystem or on that platform. All you have to do is click a few buttons, choose what tools you would want to use, or use what models, or choose what models you would want to use, and you're able to build with all of those things in somewhat a no-code fashion, from what I understand. This is again a really good tool for you to get all of that understanding without having to set up everything locally. Well, if you wanted to set up things locally, Alberto also ran a stream earlier this week to help you out there. But I think this is a good mix to show you how you can do all of the things locally and also on the cloud. And Quinn talked about this a little while ago while we were talking about the Apex Live Labs and John from the team coming in and doing this demo, but you all also went ahead and created chatbots for yourself using Oracle Apex. This looks like similar to the demo that was run during the stream about a query agent or a Q&A agent that will give you answers about NYC high schools. But I think the opportunity here is tremendous, and the kind of things that you can build and the kind of integrations that you can do when you go to your next hackathons is huge. So make sure you are also using this for next hackathon that you go to. I see a question here in the chat about check-in links. While we don't have any check-in links or registration links for closing ceremonies, I'm sure you've probably done that for all the other streams that you went to, and thanks for reminding and asking. Well, next up, we wanted you to use all of your creativity using GenAI. And a prompt that we had for all of you this week as a challenge was to create posters for GenAI. And I noticed several people doing very, very, very interactive and creative things this week. But this one caught my eye because it was AI for social good. And I really loved how GenAI was able to get the text correct, get all the characters in it really finished. And Quinn, it's really surprising because the first time I remember, and this was several years ago when I was using a text to image model for the first time, I
Mm,
think the model back then really struggled to get the text correct and the characters in it correct. But this time around, I think GenAI has evolved so much. I know you are someone who works in the AI
mm.
space. Are there any cool tools like that you've seen that maybe helps with building creatives like this?
Oh, I couldn't tell you any specific tools off the top of my head, but I will say that in the last, I think maybe last 6 months, it's really like skyrocketed. I mean, even 6 months ago, I think like most of these kind of image generation models struggled with the text still, right? It maybe looked like text, but when you looked closer, it was, illegible or not meaningful or just nonsense. But yeah, I mean, I think this is like a really great example of the rapid rate of development. It's exciting to see. Yeah.
That's true. And I can see a query here in the chat about how long do you have left for challenges. Well, you can do this during this hour. When this hour ends and when we are out of a closing ceremony, the challenges dashboard will not be accepting any more challenges. So you have time right now to go get creative with your prompts, use the GenAI tool and create and send your submission in. If by any chance you have a link that you can share with us that we can give you shout out using during the stream, we'd be very happy to do that as well. So go get creative and let us know what you build while you're doing that. This is a special shout out to another hacker who I noticed built this tool, and I wanted to also share this link in the chat with all of you to use it because I noticed this was all working really fine when I last checked. But this was a tool that this hacker built as a lesson planner that lets you specifically learn history in a very structured way. And there are a bunch of questions that you can begin with, which talks you or which asks you about what topic you'd want to learn, how much time period you have in hand for you to learn this, what grade level would you want to teach with this plan. When you click on submit, that's the orange button that you see on the screen. On the right side of the screen, it would load an exact plan of how you can go forward and tackle that topic and get to know everything around what you're really asked for, which I thought was really, really cool. If I don't know if the hacker is here watching us live, but a huge shout out for you to you for doing this. And I'd encourage everybody in the chat to go try out this app and leave some feedback or leave your thoughts on Discord. And if we are able to get in touch with the hacker, I would really encourage them to come back and read through all of that, and maybe continue building and encourage other people to also join in and help build this project further. Well, next up,
Yeah.
do you want to take
Yeah,
this forward?
of course, of course. Yeah, I just wanted to say that that is really cool. It's always exciting seeing projects like that, and it's awesome for us to see people engaging with Global Hack Week and really loving it, and going to streams and doing challenges like this. And we want to make sure, as I know so many of you have gone to so many live events, that you are finding them really, really great. So please do give us your thoughts. You can give out feedback at mlh.link/GHW for Global Hack Week feedback. So GHW feedback. And we really want to know what you loved, what you thought about everything that you went to, things which you thought could be better, or things which you'd like to see in the future as well is really important to us. Like I said, we want to make sure that this is the best possible experience for you. And so please do help us make Global Hack Weeks even better. Now, I know swag is often on everyone's minds, and you might be thinking, oh, I'm not sure, am I too late to earn swag? Well, actually, as Siddharth has just mentioned, you've got until the end of the hour, so 28 minutes, to tick off the things on this list if you haven't quite finished yet. So I'm hoping probably most of you are registered and checked in, but if not, you can still do that at mlh.link/GHW. You can submit your address at mlh.link/address. And also, you can very quickly complete the feature challenges by our partners. So if you head along to /challenges, that will give you everything that you need. And you can see the featured ones at the top. And so, as Siddharth mentioned, and as just said, you've got now 27 minutes. So you can still earn the basic swag if you are really excited for that and haven't managed to do it yet. So you're not out of time, don't worry. But while we might be coming to a close on GenAI Global Hack Week, that's not the end. So maybe Siddharth, do you want to talk a little bit about what's next?
Of course. Well, first of all, in about 2 weeks, which I think is the closest that we've scheduled any Global Hack Week to be, you're going to join us for what we call as season launch. And this is where we launch the next season of hackathons. So right now we're in the 2025 season of hackathons. When we launch the 2026 season hackathons, I'm pretty sure you've already guessed that you will get to see all of the different events that we are partnering with for the 2026 season. But that's not all. We're going to also reveal our mascot for the 2026 season. If you have gotten any swag from us in the 2025 season, you've probably seen Izzy the Inchworm, but we will sadly have to bid goodbye to Izzy the Inchworm, and we'll welcome the new mascot. That's going to be a character with the letter J. If you have any guesses in the chat, give it to us in the chat here. Let us know what it is. And if it matches with what we would have as a mascot next month, maybe we'll give you a raffle, maybe we'll give you a swag drop. But of course, this is going to be a very exciting time for you, because this is going to be a time for us to make a lot of community facing announcements. You'll also hear from one of our co-founders who will be around to do a keynote and also answer any of your questions related to community, developer relations, global hack weeks, MLH, anything at all that you do as a hacker. So a lot of all of those is going to happen throughout the week. And you will also get to do all of the different things that you did this week, which is going to streams, about 50 of them, a lot of challenges to work on, and of course, a lot more opportunities for you to win swag. What does August look like for us, Quinn?
Well, in August, so just 1 month after the season launch week, we've got another Global Hack Week, and we'll be looking at the basics of computer science. We'll be revisiting all of that content. So that will be the 8th of August till the 14th. And that's, so I guess, just under 2 months from now. And I'm super excited for this. If you're new to computer science or tech at all, this is a really great introduction. But actually, maybe you've already got some experience and you're thinking, well, maybe this isn't for me. Well, don't worry. We're going to be having tons of introductory live streams and workshops on upcoming and hyped tech. That's really great to know as a developer. So even if you're really experienced, we'll still be beginning our journey with new technologies too. So make sure to tune in for that. In September, so just after, we'll also be looking at data-related technology. So that's the following Global Hack Week. That'll be a month later than the beginner week. And as part of that, we'll be looking at databases, stuff that we need for AI and ML. There's loads of things to cover. This is September 12th till the 18th. And I'm sure most of you know by now, but data is super important for how the world goes around. And as developers, it's something that's great to have a good handle on. So we'll have tons of resources and partners to get started with data, whether you're just beginning your journey or already really experienced. There's going to be some amazing workshops. Well, what about aside from Global Hack Week, Siddharth? Do we have anything else exciting coming up?
We do, but first of all, we'd want all of you to go and register for all of these cool global hack weeks, and I'm going to drop that link in the chat and pin it for you. And while you go visit the website and look at all the different themes that's on the website, I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I noticed here in the chat. So there's a question here about anybody from the MLH team going to be around for All Things Open. I know that's a really good conference, and I know back in 2024 or 2023, I think one of our co-founders were there delivering a talk, but I unfortunately don't know if our team is going to be around again in October, but I can go find out, and maybe if you want to create a support ticket, I can go back, check with the team and let you know. If it looks like you're going to be also there, I can go find out who's going to be there and ask them to go say hi to you. That's also going to be a good way for you to meet them and chat with them. But I unfortunately don't have an answer for you right now. Well, I also noticed a few people guessing our next mascot. A raccoon, I think, is a really good guess, but it's probably not what we're going to have the next time, because our next mascot is going to be a animal or a character with the letter J. A jaguar looks probably like one that we may have, but I'm not quite sure. I've not gone and checked. I don't have access to it. This is a surprise as much as it is for you.
Top secret.
It is top secret and confidential. Well, a dinosaur, yes, but I don't know if there's a specific type of dinosaur that starts with the letter J. For anybody who's into dinosaurs, as a nerd like that, if you have a name for a dinosaur that starts with the J, I think that's probably possible. Well, Quackers
Mhm.
here knows what the format for naming a mascot is. I really like that one, Jacob, the JavaScript Jaguar. If at all it matches
Mm.
with what you have guessed, I'm pretty sure we'll come back and give you a swag drop, Quackers. I think that's a really well made guess there. I think I saw another question somewhere. Oh, I saw another guess. That's James the JPEG jellyfish, which I think is really, really nice. Quinn, I don't know if you remember the name, but I think at some point we had uh, a pixelated character or something with the name close to
Oh,
pixelated.
you're testing my knowledge now. We had the glitchy giraffe.
The glitchy giraffe. That's correct.
What's
Yes,
the what's
yes.
the what's the name though? Oh no, Gene. I
Gene the
want to say
glitchy giraffe.
Gene. Gene the
That's
glitchy.
correct.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
correct. And this sounds very close to that, the JPEG jellyfish. While I really love the name, I am pretty sure
yeah.
I'm going to send this to the team and ask them if we can still make a few changes to the mascot that we have and maybe make a JPEG jellyfish. But that's really nice. Well, I hope you all were able to go and check the website meanwhile, and you have gone registered to a few of them. While you
Mm.
are looking at Global Hack Weeks, I want to now take this opportunity to announce that we're going to run another Discord or another digital hackathon on our Discord server. I've seen a lot of you ask if there are any more digital hackathons coming, and I've been telling you that you'll have to wait for a few more months. But the wait has come to an end. This is going to be just in about a month, I should say, and I'm sure the month will go away really
Mm.
soon. While we were talking about the Global Hack Week, that's data related. This is also going to be very similar to that. If the name sounds confusing, don't worry at all. This is going to be anything that you use data for. Imagine using a different set of database technologies or using anything that's related to a data use case. Say you're doing some sort of data science, you're working with cleaning data sets, or you're doing AI ML, or maybe also using the data set for GenAI use cases, right? All of that you can build at the hackathon that we're talking about, which is Data Hackfest. You can also sign up for Data Hackfest today if you go to mlh.io/events. But before we tell you a little bit more about other hackathons, we wanted to make this even more exciting by giving you all an opportunity to win swag, or what we call a surprise prize. And we are going to give away surprise prize to one person each from the list of registrants who go and register for season launch and Data Hackfest by the end of this week. That is tomorrow. So you have one whole day to go and register for both of these things. I will come back later on Discord, maybe later on Saturday or Monday on Discord. You have time until then to go register, and I'll come back and announce the special winners. But that's not all the swag winning opportunities that we'll have at both of those events. There's going to be several more things. And I'm sure by being at GenAI Week, you've understood how frequently we raffle off surprise prizes and give away swag. We're going to do all of that and maybe much more when we get to the next Global Hack Week. But if you want to find any of those events that we talked about, or even more events that may be happening close to where you live, that's the website that you can go to, which is mlh.io/events. When you go to the website right now, you may see a fewer list of events right in there, because like I said, we will kick off the next season next month, and the website will refresh, and you will start to see 2026 season written on it, where you will find another set of events that you can go through. So we're just keeping it hidden for now before we make a grand reveal of all the events that we are partnering with in the recent future. And we'll tell you all about that when you join us for season launch week. That's going to be between the 4th of July through the 10th of July. Well, I know we have a lot of thank yous here, Quinn, to do. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, of course. So first up, I want to say a huge thank you to Alberto. Alberto ran some streams on GenAI locally and RAG and MCP. I know those were some favorites, so huge thank you to Alberto. We had Charbel for doing some Linux and 3D modeling workshops. Again, some fan favorites, I think, here, some really popular streams. And of course, we had Ryan Lalu doing Git and Figma workshops, some really great tools to know as a developer. So huge thank you to Ryan as well. Do you want to take these, Siddharth?
Of course. And I see folks in the chat asking for a link to go register for Data Hackfest. I'm going to drop that link quickly in the chat and keep that
Mm.
pinned in case you would want to go and register for it. But while we're doing that, let's go thank all of these people that you see on the street on your screens, which is UT, Way, and Varshini. UT, like I said, does a lot of streams at almost every global hack week that we've run till GenAI week, I think. But this time around, UT was doing the Doodle platform, which was built using React.js, and it was a really great way to learn React.js and build a project out of it that you can go add to your resume or to your LinkedIn as you'd like it. Way, you saw Way, and you saw Way a little while ago in the chat as well. I don't know, Way, if you're still here, but a huge shout out to Way for running the GitHub Copilot workshop and also running a few mini events during this week. You saw Varshini run the GenAI Dev Tool stream. Varshini also gave you a walkthrough about APIs in general and also did a lot of Today in Global Hack Week streams. I thought Varshini, I think what this was Varshini's second Global Hack Week. And for second Global Hack Week, I think Varshini did a lot of good content this time around. So huge, huge shout out for Varshini to also come back and really pass that knowledge on to the community. Who's next, Quinn?
Oh,
I'll
next
take
I think is
I think I'll kick us off here because I need to thank Quinn. Quinn did a lot of streams this time around. You saw Quinn run the designing strategic game stream. You saw Quinn do a lot of other Gen AI related streams. Quinn was around with me for opening. Quinn is around with me right now for closing. Quinn did a lot of stuff, and I know this was a busier time for Quinn, and we were chatting about it while we were in the backstage. But thank you so much, Quinn, for doing all that you do for the community, and we really, really love to see all the good things you do. And we would want you to come back for more opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies as well. Over to you.
That's awesome. It's absolutely my pleasure. I love doing this stuff. Well, I also want to say a huge thank you to Carrie. Carrie did a two-part series on EdTech and how we can use GenAI to make impactful learning tools. I think we've already seen a project from a hacker through that. I think that's really exciting to see people using what they're learning and building cool things. We also had a few streams with Jocelyn, including one on voice-powered GenAI with Varpi, I think. I hope I pronounced that right. Every time I say it, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. And that's something, again, I've mentioned before, I'm definitely going to go back and watch. I haven't done much text-to-speech. I think it's a really useful and cool skill to have. Next up, I want to say a final huge thank you to Rosendo and Alex and Mary. They do a lot of the behind the scenes work. Probably you've seen Rosendo quite a lot with some of the partner streams, and Alex helps out with getting everything perfect for the partners too. And Mary, of course, does lots of the organizational things behind the scenes. I also want to say a huge thank you to Siddharth, who isn't on these slides, but helps run the opening and closing and organize, again, things behind the scenes. So a huge thank you to those three and Siddharth as well. What about our partners? Should we thank them, Siddharth?
Of course, we really need to.
Course.
Starting with GitHub and Figma, I'm sure you've seen GitHub and Figma at several other global hack weeks that you've been to. You've also maybe gone to workshops with them when you are going to MLH hackathons and even otherwise. I think this is a tool that not just student developers use, but everybody in the ecosystem, everybody who calls themselves a developer or a designer uses. So it really, really means a lot for us to have both of them joining us for every global hack week. You got a chance to go to workshops by both of them. You had a lot of challenges that you could also attempt. But I would want to specifically call out the GitHub Student Developer Pack that gives you access to tons of tools out there. And if you were to use any of those tools, I'm sure you will learn a lot more than what maybe you learn inside of your classrooms. And for any design frenzy friends here or folks who want to deep dive into storytelling when they build these hacks at hackathons, Figma is your friend and you should go sign up for the Figma education plan. Both of those tools, both of those resources, or all of the resources that both of those uh, awesome companies bring to you are available for sign up on our challenges page. You still have time, I think, about 10 minutes or 15 minutes from now to go sign up for both of those and get access to all of those tools that they bring. Next up, we had Clarify and Oracle Database. I'm sure you've heard us talk about them when we were doing the recap. But Clarify was joining us for the first time at a Global Hack Week. We had Sumant come in and do streams and help out on Discord. But I'm pretty sure there were several more people on that team who were doing all the behind the scenes to make sure that they were able to give you all the access to these resources. So a huge, huge shout out to them for doing this. You still have a chance to go complete the feature challenges by Clarify and everything else that was part of the Global Hack Week Gen AI challenge list. Make sure you get through all of that as soon as possible. Well, a fun fact about Oracle database that I always love to call out is about 94% of the Fortune Global 100 companies are powered by Oracle databases. That should tell you how important it is for you to work on Oracle database or get understanding of that technology overall. You still have a chance to go watch the YouTube recordings. You will always have the chance to watch the recordings because that's going to be on YouTube. But you can watch and parallelly complete all of the challenges that's on our challenges dashboard. So make sure you make use of all the time that you have maybe during the weekend also to go back and check and get an understanding of those tools. Well, last but not the least, ARM also joined us for the first time at Global Hack Week. You saw Kiran from ARM coming around to first start off with a panel discussion kind of a stream with Swift, who's our CEO. And Kiran, I think, talked a little bit about his journey getting into tech, his journey getting into the hacker community, and all the good things that he's been doing as part of ARM, and even before he joined the team ARM. You also got to see the power that ARM servers get you, and you also got Kiran to run a demo just by using CPUs. All of us, when we talk about AI and Gen AI, we think that we need GPUs to make everything run, but uh, I don't remember the specifics of what CPU we were running or what the specifications were of it were, but we used just CPUs to make an LLM run, an LLM chatbot run live on the stream. So a lot of good things that the folks at ARM are getting through, which I think you should go back and check, and send them all the love that you had for us here on the stream, and tell them that you really want them to come back around and do more streams and more challenges at further global hack weeks. Well, I think that's our time, Quinn, and it's probably
Mhm.
time for us to say goodbye. I'll keep an eye out for any questions in the chat, but do you have any parting notes?
No, I just want to say it's been a really awesome week. I've had so much fun. I hope you all have had as much fun as I have, if not more as well. It's been brilliant, and I can't wait for season launch in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm really excited.
Me too. Couldn't have said that better. I see
Mm.
someone here asking for the registration links for the two events. Well, if you wanted to go sign up for for Data Hackfest, that's the digital hackathon, you can use this link. That's right above the comment that you made, or the right above the comment that you where you asked for the links. If you want to go sign up for season launch and other global hack weeks, all you have to do is go to ghw.mlh.io, which is this link right here. You will find all the different registration links for all the different hack or all the different global hack weeks that have been announced. um, yeah, I don't see any other questions here. And that's the link if you'd want to go back and watch any of the recordings, including the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. Yeah, I think that's all of questions. Let me see folks thanking us. Well, thank you to all of you for joining all the
Mm.
Global Hack Weeks and bringing the energy. If Quinn and I and other streamers were here doing streams with nobody watching, it would not be fun at all. You are the reason that we have all the energy that we're able to bring to the streams, and you are the reason that we continue to come back to the streams and keep doing this. So a huge, huge shout out to everybody in the community for coming around and being part of the MLH community. Well, I
Mm.
think, Quinn, that's our time. We will now say goodbye to everybody and hopefully see them around for season launch.
Awesome. Let's do it. Thank you all for coming. It's been so good to be here, and I'll see you all very, very soon at season launch.